Welcome to JENNA. Talk to her. Yes, we're still here. We're still here on this beautiful Tuesday morning. We have it's already September. I know. How crazy is that? September, guys. What have we done this year so far? Who feels bad now asking this question? Like we don't feel like we've done anything because we were not able to go anywhere, right? Yeah, how many of you feel like that right now? Well, I think, even if we're not going anywhere, I think most of us were really doing a lot, figuring out what to do next in our life, how we want to spend the rest of our lives, or how do we want to create our life, like just in case that this is not going back to normal. Let's say this is normal, what we're experiencing, and we just have to make the best out of it. So I think this is what a lot of people have been doing. So this is very important, actually, to ask yourself these questions. And I think that was also, I talked to some friends and they were like, you know what, I was doing really what I enjoyed doing in the past, but then the lockdown happened, and then I figured out that there's actually much more out there that I enjoy doing. And it was okay, I mean, I had, a great job, or like I made a lot of money, and was connected with my friends. But sometimes they find out that there was something maybe missing even in their lives. So I found this time actually really valuable to just uh, look at things and how we want to move forward, how we want to create a life going on from here, how to create, like, what does it mean to live a successful life, and I think that definition is different for everybody, because success really, what does it mean to live a successful life? And I think it's definitely not living up to the expectations of other people, or like following what other people define as success. I think it's very important that we define our own success. And I think living a successful life means that you're doing the things that you want to do, that you're feeling good about yourself, that you have everything that you desire in your personal life, and that can look very different for everybody. Everybody has different desires and different needs, and if we arrange a life according to that, I feel like this is when we feel successful with whatever we do. So this is the chance, guys. This is the chance to create your new life. And this is why I wanted to bring on somebody on the show. He was with us before. I'm super excited to have him back. My dear angel friend, he is helping people actually to do exactly that, like to create a life that they love with everything that they want to experience, and really helps them to focus and go inside themselves and see what's in the way of creating that. So he uses different techniques. He's a life coach. He's also an actor. He's a model. Let me get my list very quick because it's like long. So he's a life coach. He's a model and actor. He's a speaker. And he's also handsome, charming, sexy, funny, and awesome. So that's all on my list. Ladies and gentlemen, you probably know him already, and I always love having him back. Here is Mr. Dan Prok, everybody. Daniel, come out to us. And 3, 2, 1, you are boom on. Yeah.
Hey. I hear the crowd clapping for mostly you, but yeah.
No,
I'm very happy to be here with you.
Yes, good vibes always. And
Yes.
I love, discussing certain topics with you, because you're like, you have transformed your own life like a lot. And I think it's so inspiring to see that it is really possible. It's not just something that you say, oh yeah, we can all, like, or we can all transform our lives and nobody really believes it. It's possible, and you're a
Yeah.
living example of that. And I think this is why let me put your name on here too. Yeah, this works. This is why I love bringing you back again and again when we have our coaching segments here going on. And I wanted to talk to you about success, today, and what it really means to you to live a successful life.
Yeah. So when you contacted me about doing this call and you asked me or told me the topic of the show, I really thought about success, and I feel like it's a ever evolving and changing definition for people because when I grew up in a big family, 7 kids. My parents were teachers. My dad's a principal, my mom's a teacher. So we were success was education. Get good grades and you're successful. So I got almost straight A's in high school. Went on to be a mechanical engineer. So it's like scholastics. That was success. It's scholastics. And then I got my job as an aerospace engineer for Lockheed. And man, I didn't like one day of that job. I hated it. I don't hate anything, but I hated it. And that what but that was going with the world's definitions or my parents' definitions of success. I went on a winding road, and I won't get into too much of it, but basically went into like drinking patterns and just bad self-destructive patterns. Probably 10, maybe more years later, I started acting. And it took me several years to build that into like a money-making career. But over the last 2 years, I've made more money acting than I had made in my engineering job. It was the best financial years of my life. So I was doing something that I was passionate about and making good money, but not quite thriving when I look back at it. And then this happens in March with COVID and the lockdowns and all this stuff. And it gave me time to go within and evaluate myself more and realize, man, I was grinding. I was doing something I'm very passionate about and I love to do, but it was a hustle, it was a grind, it was probably all the things that you might hear some successful people say, like you gotta hustle and grind. And I was hustling and grinding, but man, I wasn't as healthy as I am now. I know my cortisol level.
Also the perception of other people, right? What successful means, like, because you were working as an actor, you were posting, oh, I'm shooting here, I'm shooting there. So people say like, oh, you made it, you're like really successful. But you say that for yourself, it maybe didn't really feel like that so much because you were burning out, it was just
Yeah.
a lot of work. You were, I mean, doing what you enjoy doing, but it became more of a business also,
Mm-hmm.
than following the passion. Um so yeah, let us know what happened after, because that's very interesting with the COVID situation. And this is why I also started a show like this. It's really a chance to get a new perspective on the things that we've been doing so far, and seeing like, is this really like what I want to do? Is this really successful to me? Like, would I
Yeah.
want to continue after that, go back to that, or would I change something? And I think that's when your interesting story comes in now. So please
Yeah.
share it with us.
Yeah. So when things got shut down in March, and then a few months later, I decided I needed to go somewhere. So came out to Sedona, Arizona. That's where I'm at right now. And I started making my life coaching content for YouTube so I could package the materials that I've helped people with one on one, but I could package it in a way that, hundreds of people, thousands of people, millions of people can get good material, good lessons, good techniques and strategies to live a better life, to live what I call their ideal life. And man, I feel like I have more purpose now. So success being something that everyone should define for themselves, but for me, it had to go from doing what others define success in my family to doing what I'm passionate about, to now it's like doing things that are more purposeful and fulfilling and uplifting. And I can pretty much wrap around my acting skills, my spokesperson skills, my
Mhm.
filmmaking skills, my helping skills. I'm doing all of it now. So, man, I've changed my definitions a lot, but going within and finding your purpose, um, I feel like everyone, and I believe everyone's got a unique, special gift. And to share that more and more with the world brings just a different level of fulfillment for me. But
Mhm.
the world's waiting for everyone on this chat with us, or this video call. um the world's waiting for you. The world needs your love and light. The world, you've got a special place that you fit into the world. As we transition into something that I believe, and I promote this and I believe it, the new normal is defined by us, not the news. We define the new normal, and the new normal can be something better than it's ever been before, ever. And I believe that with all my heart. I believe right now, there's a big awakening happening in people. There's also a big purging happening in society to get rid of the crap that was underneath the surface. It's purging out. So
Mhm.
when that all transforms, we're really heading into something wonderful.
And it's
And
really the chance to yeah, redefine our own success and say, okay, what do I want to do and how do I want my life to look like?
yeah.
This is the time. This is the time to do this. So, and also, I think when we find that thing that gives us purpose, besides all the stuff that we do, we can bring it together, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now it doesn't mean that you stop acting. It doesn't mean that you stop doing all the things that you enjoy doing. It's just like it makes it more colorful now because it has a purpose, a message behind it. So, is that what you're
Yeah.
experiencing?
Yeah, it's a lot more fulfilling. I feel like, I'm not just going and fitting into someone else's idea on Earth, as an actor, fitting into, I just say fitting into the matrix. I'm creating something that I'm putting into the world. And my whole goal is to fill it with love and fill it with light and fill it with great energy and upliftment, so that it helps really ignite other people or catapult other people, or it's radiating that energy through it.
You
And
basically
for
help people. You basically help people to find that part of themselves, right? Like figure out like what it is that they have to share with the world.
That's part of it. It's living your ideal life. What does your ideal life look like? And then going inside, because that's where the answers really are. um, Going inside, seeing if there's things that you want to accomplish, seeing what's in you, maybe in your belief system, that is in
Yeah.
conflict with those things, because there's a foundation of beliefs that I never learned in school. I had to learn this stuff through different methodologies and teachers out of like in the last 5 years.
Hmm.
That without that foundation of empowering beliefs about ourselves and the world, man, we could have all the knowledge out there. But if we believe, life, man, life just doesn't work out for me. If you have some sort of belief, or I'm not good enough or smart enough, or uh, I can't handle it, or those types of things, the limiting beliefs, man, any of those things can hook people into a life that's less than. And I've gone through over the last 5 years, and this, like, I have these techniques that I scan my consciousness to clear up those limitations. It's That's been the most beautiful part about the last several months. It's being able to sit there, go within, ask yourself empowering questions. Everyone here could say, what does my ideal life look like? And
Hmm.
truly answer that question over and over again and get a concept of your ideal life.
And I think
Even if,
also, when it comes to beliefs, I think I'm like, can I say something?
yeah, yeah.
When it comes to beliefs, um, even allowing yourself to think about that, ask yourself, what do I
Mm-hmm.
actually want? Because there's so
Right.
many restrictions already that people don't allow themselves to dream big or like to really think like, oh, if like my ideal day, what would that look like if I wouldn't have to do anything for anybody else? Like what would I be doing from
Yeah.
morning till evening?
Yes.
Then already you can hear like, oh yeah, but I can't do this because of that, and then and don't have the money for it, or I'm like, it's COVID, I can't go anywhere, or but
Mm-hmm.
people, I think, um, have the chance now to realize that you can create whatever you want in your space. You know, I think this was the whole COVID experience. You don't have to travel in order to create your life. And so it is it is an interesting concept, but it needs to, you need first to get rid of these, of that mindset that keeps you from even asking those questions and allowing yourself
Right.
to ask yourself that. So yeah,
Right.
but you work a lot with people also with mindset, and you help them remove those mind blocks basically that keep them from having what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there's something, because you mentioned a little point that is good, and I pick up on these things. Sometimes we might say, my life's ideal when, who knows, you have a certain level of success or happiness, or maybe you get a new girlfriend or boyfriend, or, something like that. But I heard someone say in the last few years that sometimes you have the right idea, right instinct about something, but it just takes like 3 seconds for the mind to talk you out of it sometimes. so so it's like our mind's the greatest tool, but it also, can really get in the way too. It's managing our mind and conditioning our mind for love, for health, for wealth, for joy, like conditioning our life for these things, which for me, come from a place of not having any of those things as habitual things in my life growing up. None of that.
Yeah.
Loving environment, healthy environment, wealthy, none of that. So I had to uh, imagine a life that's as wonderful as, and now, well, let me just say, I had to imagine a better and better life. But now in the last 5 years, I'm consciously imagining it and really aligning beliefs with that imagination, if you will. So,
Where do you feel like does that come from? Because sometimes it's like if you don't experience things, you cannot imagine it.
yeah.
And so
Well,
that's why you're creating a life that you never had. So where did you get your inspiration from?
there's, gosh, lots of inspiration, but just if everyone just looks around the room they're in, uh, the room you're in, the car you're driving, just look around the world around you, the chair you're sitting on, the pen that you use, all that stuff was imagined by someone else. We're living in imagination. The place you go eat, the restaurant that we used to go eat at, but now we go, walk up and get food out of. But everything in our environment was imagination. We live in imagination from the past that is where we're in right now, and then we can override and create a new, better life for ourselves, and a better life for ourselves with our imagination. There's a process of and the people who built these things that were once imagined, Disneyland, all these different things that I mentioned, those people believed in their imagination more than they believed what they saw with their eyes or heard with their ears.
Mm-hmm.
Their physical senses didn't define their life. They defined it with their mind and their imagination. So I just encourage people to,
The vision is kind of the first thing. Then what what you
mm-hmm,
have to create in order for everything to fall into place. Because if you have a vision, you can actually see what's in the way of getting there.
mm-hmm,
Right? You
yeah,
can
the
work
vision that we all
step
have.
to get everything out of the way that's not aligned with that. It's like I always like to bring up that example with the car. If you want a new car, but you have like your old car that you hate in your driveway, there's no space for the new car.
Yeah,
So it's almost like you need to
yeah,
get rid of the stuff that you don't like before you actually really get what you want. And
yeah. That's a great way to do it for
with
sure.
interactors, like I like to, because I've been doing this in the past. I was with an agency that I wasn't happy with, so I was like, I want a better agent, but I was like, okay, but as long as I'm with an agent that I don't like, I'll keep on creating the scenario. So I need to get rid of the stuff that doesn't make me feel good first.
Right.
So, and that worked. So making space for the things that you want and asking yourself, do I really have space for what I'm asking for?
Right.
Or am I just wanting it, but still I'm kind of blocking it at the same time?
Yeah, that's a great way to do it, to cleanse personal environments as well, like that, to you know give away things that aren't in alignment with the life that we really want.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
and
that's in one, like, that are not in alignment with what we want. Yeah, getting rid of
yeah,
this, and that's part of your work too, right? That's kind of what you do with people.
yeah, it is. I really focus on behaving as though I'm living in the reality that I prefer, which is to me more like heaven on earth, which is heaven on earth for me. That's how I define it. And I spend a lot of time in nature. I calibrate myself with that. I really truly have smiley, happy, friendly people everywhere I go. That is a belief that I program myself with, based on not having that in my life for most of my life. But it
Yeah.
shows up over time that we can really live something wonderful and live something better than what we see with our eyes or ears. And I've unplugged. That's one of the best things that's happened for me being out here. I'd go for a hike, I'd film it, have some good encouraging words, but I realized I unplugged from the things that had chaos in them.
Mm.
Uh, whether it was a lot of social media, I curbed that addiction because it was addiction. Um, I use it as a tool, but I don't let it use me. Yeah, exactly. Like that's life. Like here's your life today. Just swiping on some screen. Like that's crazy when you could go. But I was crazy too. I was doing it. I was looking for my next acting job. But so I got rid of that.
Distracting.
Got rid of
It's so distracting, right? Being
so
constantly,
distracting.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
you
there's a lot of chaos.
unplugging, unplugging from social media was like a big thing for you. Like, okay,
Unplugging from social media, unplugging from news, unplugging from. I'm an actor, and also unplugging from TV shows and movies that aren't of my preferred reality. Anything of a storyline that's not like my preferred reality, I don't have time for it. I don't have time. And I'll just say this: a lot of people on this call, including me, may be living in a world that has some themes like some weird shows and movies that they've watched over their lifetime. They're living in a world that has some themes like the entertainment that we've let go into our consciousness and we're hyper focused on while we're watching that hour or 2 hour movie. That's a long time to focus on a theme.
and you
If you
mean like that because whatever we see, right? Whatever we see, we're creating more of. So what
what
you're saying is you just
whatever we focus on,
make sure that you only see the things that you want more of in your life, which
yeah,
is like people, even movies, because movies are powerful, you know.
they're
Movies,
powerful.
like,
Yeah,
you jump into that reality. This is why I can't watch any horror movies or stuff, and I don't want
never.
that in my life. I don't want to feel like this in my life.
Right.
So, and it takes a lot though to disconnect, right, from, because also from people that are maybe not on the same page with you anymore, where you don't feel like supported, and that can be family, and that can be kind of sad
Right.
also, you know, to say like, you know, this doesn't work for me right now, and just
Yeah.
taking that step out of that circle. It's not easy for a lot of people. What would
Yeah.
you recommend for that? Like, how do you tell your family that, you know, I'm like on a different track right now, or like I need some time off? How do you communicate that?
you know, I'm just laughing because I've been through this big time in the past probably 5 years. It's amazing how you can get a text message from a person and it can go like shock you. Text message from a person who can send you a weird text message and it can be shocking to your energy. Uh, I've blocked numbers in the past.
You
Um,
mean physically? Do you feel it like
well,
entering the
well,
system?
just well, if you ever, yeah, haven't you ever got a text message from someone and it was kind of, like urgent or they were stressed out or whatever?
Gives you a bad
It,
feeling, and you're like, or you feel like guilty, or you feel like, oh, I
you,
should.
you could you could feel all these things and it's like, how is this person shocking me through my text message? Like how is that? But it's energetically affecting us. So I've blocked phone numbers. I haven't really had much of like a conversation. I just especially family, I just let it drift.
Yeah.
I just let it drift a little bit. I don't need to talk to someone every day or every week. I was just like, okay, maybe once a month. I just had to let things cool off. Um, it's really important to separate ourselves from things that lower our vibe, that make us feel bad, that have us in a any sort of habitual negative state of emotion, fear, doubt, anxiety, worry, anything that triggers that in any form. I don't have time for it. I'm living in love, joy, peace, and happiness. Love, joy, peace, and happiness. They have nothing to do with those things. I want to laugh, have fun, feel great, uh, live in joy. Joy is
Mhm.
just, and living in peace. Do you know how easy it is to live in peace? Peace is easy.
Yeah.
Peace is easy. Fear is hard.
So it's
It's
like
like
almost,
peace is so easy.
sometimes it's like, how can you, because sometimes it can be difficult to decide like what's toxic and what's not, but
Yeah.
I think that's why creating the vision is so important. It's like you're building this thing, this is your vision, and everything that does not lead you to this point, that does not help you to get there,
Right.
or takes away your attention from this, that is distracting, is needs to go, right?
You said it perfectly, and I do a lot of things that I ask myself questions. So the question is,
Maybe we can
so
do a little exercise for
yeah,
everybody. Let's do something, guys. Everybody who's watching, let's take out some pen and paper, and we'll do a little exercise with a question or questions that Dan will give us to start the process of figuring, out like how we want to live our life and what's our ideal life.
right.
So,
Yeah, this
okay,
is
and go ahead, guys. Are
you
you
you you cued this in perfectly, Jenna. So basically, if you ask yourself a question, my life is, or fill in the blank. My life is ideal when fill in the blank. My life is ideal when fill in the blank. My life is ideal when fill in the blank. And you can keep asking yourself that question, and you'll get this really nice concept of the way you want your life to look. And it could be
mm,
one thing, two things. You could spend an hour doing it and really come up with, like, yeah, this is this beautiful, nice, wonderful life that I can have. And that is real. On some level, it's real for sure.
but even if it's not possible, right? Like even if it seems impossible, we still want to write this down. We still want to say, my life is ideal when I have this,
Right.
even if we don't know how to do this right now, or even if we don't know how to get this thing.
When I lived at my sister's place and had no money and no car about 5 years ago, and was starting to act, I started doing these exercises, and it was, my life is ideal when I'm living in my own place by the beach in La Jolla. My life is ideal when I'm a successful actor. My life
Yeah.
is ideal when, and I had this thing. None of it existed at the time. Now it exists. And then I keep asking that kind of question to get upgraded,
Hmm.
new answers and new concepts that I want for my heaven on earth type of life. So
Okay.
that, so that,
My
so
life is
then,
ideal when I have chocolate.
yes. what, what kind? Yeah, exactly. My life is ideal when, there's so many cool things. Sedona's been so good to
Different
me. So
example.
good.
Let's
But
play this.
the other, well, we can play with this, and then we can go to the other question that you had mentioned, which is, what things in my life are out of alignment with my ideal life? And
Yeah.
then
So
you
first
get
we
it.
have to figure out what it is, right? What is our
Yeah,
ideal life? So this is
yeah,
why it's kind of cool to, and it can be little things, like
yeah,
it can be like, for me, my life is ideal when I wake up in a place where I have opportunity every day.
yes.
So just figuring out what means something to you, I guess, is very important. Not what people say is good to have or means, or is successful, but really what you desire. And that can be very specific. It can be
It can
very
be
little.
very specific.
Having like, my life is ideal when I'm able to have some beautiful flowers on my table.
Nice. See, you're living your ideal life. You're living it.
Because it's, like being surrounded by beauty
Mm-hmm.
is part of my
My,
ideal life.
yeah,
So, and it's simple, it's easy things that we can do that make us happy. Every time I walk by table, I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful. So
Mm-hmm.
making ourselves happy, I think that's what we want to do with that. That's the whole
Yeah.
point, like creating a life that we really enjoy.
Yeah.
Um, and not only on the weekend and not only on vacation, like 2 weeks of the year. Like, no, we want to create the life every day like that.
Yeah. Every day, really, it's every moment it's the greatest day of our life every day. Uh, I tell myself that in the morning. And then I realized in a conversation with a friend last night, I was like, okay, if I say that in the morning, then, and expecting it to be the greatest day of my life, then I really should be going to bed at night so excited about everything because tomorrow's going to be the best day that I've ever had so far. So
Yeah.
that's going to be an awesome day. So I had to kind of wrap my mind around it more so than just an affirmation to start the day. I had to really look at it, and he helped me because this friend of mine, he was saying that it's his birthday coming up, and he told himself the last few years that whatever birthday is going to be way better than the one before. So he's going to Cabo for two. He's going, yeah.
Be
So
like,
he's going on a 2 week vacation, which is better than the ones before. So I was like, well, I could do that every day, and I should do that. So last night I just went to bed really excited about today being the greatest day of my life and all these wonderful things that are going to happen that are surprises and blessings and just wonderful things. So
that's why
yeah,
you're here with me today.
I know, I know it, Basa. Exactly. So
Well, Dan, it's
that's
a
the
yeah.
and I'll leave this because you did mention it. Another question. So you ask, my life is ideal when, and fill in the blank, and then say, what in my life is out of alignment with my ideal life? What things do I need to get rid of in order to live my ideal life? And just make your list, and then you're steering yourself in this direction. You know, you're like foot on the gas, and you're taking your foot off the brake because all
Mm,
those things that are in the way is us just sitting there with our foot on the brake, like, oh, I'm trying to drive, but it's like foot
I
on the
love
gas and
it.
the brake at the same time. Got to just take the
That's
foot
an
off the brake
amazing
and we're going.
image. That's an amazing image. Yeah, it's very easy to um, yeah, those two things, guys. It's that simple, right? And then of course we have to take action and
Right.
remove the things that are on our in the way list. But I love that, Dan. Thank you so much for bringing this in. I think it's very helpful to a lot of people out there. And yeah, so how can people work with you and figure out their own ideal lives?
So you can, if you have anything that you need to work through as an individual, I've got individual coaching sessions and a 3 month or 1 year program. If you had a group, an organization, a team, a company that you'd like me to speak with some sort of empowering message that also has some strategies and techniques for improvement, I can do that too. And y'all can find my website, which is letyourlightshinelifecoaching.com,
Down below in
which is
the
right,
it's running by.
yeah, which is right down below. And also there's a link to my YouTube channel, which has a lot of coaching themes within it. Uh, and that's under Daniel Prok on YouTube. But there's a link to that you guys can click now, so that pulls up for you. But yeah, Daniel Prok, that's the one for me.
Hey
Um,
Dan,
yeah,
then when you get off here, do you want to drop the link in the comments below so people can click on it right away, the YouTube channel?
sure.
Yeah, because I put on your website here, but I don't have the YouTube channel on here. So for everybody who's interested, just click on that link that Dan is going to drop right after his interview or right now.
I just added it right now. Did that go through?
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a little bit delayed with the chat that's going on,
Okay.
but all right, Mr. Dan, Mr. Angel Dan, thank you so much
Yes.
for coming in. I love talking to you, and I definitely want you to be back in my coaching segment. Um, I think it's going to happen in 2 weeks.
Okay. I'd
We
love
have
to do it.
a schedule, but I would like to. We'll be back with some more mindset training, and how we can get all that stuff out of the way that's not helping us to create the life that we want.
Yeah, I'd love to come back. talking about beliefs and things that you could believe about yourself in the world, I'll just leave with one of my main ones, which every day I write down in a journal. I'm living a
Yeah.
life filled with love, health, wealth, wisdom, and freedom. And I
Woo!
write that and I believe it and I believe it. I believe it more than I believe what's going on in the world. I believe it more with my heart and soul, and it aligns me with that reality around me. And then when we do that as groups and as a collective, we can transform the whole world into something magnificent, which is already there. So
Yes.
I love you all, and I appreciate you for listening and being here. I'm always rooting for you and praying for you to live your most glorious life ever.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.
All right. God bless everyone.
Okay. Have a good day in Sedona. Bye.